Hello, students. I hope you all are absolutely safe and fine out there. And I also hope that you all are preparing really, really well for your upcoming board exams. So, today's session is discussing various suggestions given in the official website, along with a few do's and don'ts as far as your English literature paper is concerned. How do we prepare for a literature paper? What is that thing that can help us score better marks in the examination? Let's discuss that in detail today. So, without wasting further time, come on, let us quickly proceed further with this session. Now, the very first section, A, that is drama. Now, remember, in your paper, you will be asked to attempt any 5 questions. That does not mean that you are going to skip one section. Now, for example, if a student who is excellent in Merchant of Venice says, I'm going to solve all the three questions from Merchant of Venice and probably solve two from prose, and I'm done with that. No. Solving one question, okay, from every section is mandatory. Always remember, solving one question from every section. So you can say 2 to 1, you can follow the 2 to 1 ratio where you're solving 2 questions from MOB, then 2 from prose and 1 from poetry, or anyway, like your 2 from MOV, 1 from prose and 2 from poetry, or 1 from MOV, 2 from prose and 2 from poetry. That's your choice. But solving one question per section is mandatory. Okay. Now, whenever you're solving Merchant of Venice, first and foremost, you should know the importance of each and every scene. Next thing, you should know the biblical references. For example, the story of Uncle Laban. Then we had the Black Monday, Ash Wednesday. You should know these references thoroughly. Okay, these biblical references, these allusions should be known by all. Next thing is you should understand what is the scene, what is it trying to convey, or how important the scene is, or maybe what is that one important factor in that particular scene. You should be thorough with the character sketch of each and every character in MOV. Okay, then probably all these minute details, especially I'm focusing on Greek and the biblical allusions, you should be thorough with that. Okay, for example, the three sisters that Lancelot spoke about. Okay, so you should know each and everything in detail, right? So always remember, whenever you're solving Merchant of Venice, first and foremost, you should know your scene very well. You should know the sequence of the scene, like what happens in Act 1, Scene 1, then how does it progress in Act 1, Scene 2. The sequence of the drama should be clear to all of you all. And the next thing is that you should be thorough with each and every scene, with the old English, archaic English, as well as the translation in modern English. So you should be thorough with the language, you should be thorough with the words mentioned, you should be thorough with the entire plot when it comes to Merchant of Venice. You should be able to distinguish over here who played the villain, who played the good character. And always remember one thing, whenever you write an answer in Merchant of Venice, you should always write your answer favoring Christians. You cannot write anything against the Christians. Always remember that. So this is something that you all need to remember when it comes to solving any question from Merchant of Venice. You should read the play very well. You should read your textbooks very well. You should be thorough with the entire Merchant of Venice textbook at least 2 times. Whenever you're solving questions, read the question. Always begin your answer with an introduction. This extract has been taken from. Do not forget to add the keywords. Once again, what are keywords? The one word answer to your question is called as the keyword. So always remember these minute little things when it comes to, writing your Merchant of Venice questions, attempting these questions. Okay, whenever you're talking about a character sketch, describe your character using adjectives. Okay, describe. When you're talking about, say, Jessica, you're talking about Nerissa, you're talking about Portia, describe them with adjectives. For example, Portia was seen as a melancholic lady in the beginning. When we spoke about her in Act 1, Scene 2, she seemed to be a very sad person. So describe her with adjectives. Whenever you're describing a character, describe them using adjectives. That is going to help you score better marks. Okay, then ensure that you're understanding the meaning of the words. See, the language given in Merchant of Venice textbook is archaic English. That's the old English. Okay, so just do not blindly mug up answers and then write them in the paper. No, you need to understand the meaning of the words. You need to understand the simple language of those words, and then probably attempt an answer in the examination. Okay, do not resort to rote learning रट्टोफाई नहीं करना है. We have to understand the answer, we have to write the answer in our own words, but yes, do not forget to mention the keywords, because the marks that you're going to score in your Merchant of Venice exam or any literature paper that you attempt, the marks will be given to you based on your keywords. So how do you basically prepare for your Merchant of Venice exam? Or, how do you prepare for your literature paper? Let's talk about Merchant of Venice first and foremost. Go act wise. Now you have the entire textbook. Okay, you guys are really lucky that you do not have act 5. Okay, so the 4 acts that you'll have, focus on that. Now you can go act wise. Like for example, you start with act 1, then you go on to act 1 scene 1. Now act 1 scene 1 is really simple. You've done it last year also, but still read the entire dialogues given in the textbook and start solving questions based on that. The best technique to solve literature paper is to make your own question paper. So what you can do is you can simply, let's say you are done reading this one particular scene. So now you can just take up the empty guide that has been provided to you all and make a set of 10 questions. Close the book and start writing the answers. Open the book and check what you have written and what is given in the textbook, in the guide. Sorry, is it matching? Are the keywords matching? See what is missing, what is that they have written and you have not written. Try comparing your work, and only then you'll be able to understand your errors. So always remember, whenever you're preparing for literature paper, now this is Merchant of Venice, this is prose, and this is poetry. If you're like say you started studying Merchant of Venice, so then what you can do after every scene, okay, make your own question paper. Let's say of 10 questions, 20 questions. Start solving those questions, start writing these answers, and then what you can do is open the book and cross check. Now be faithful to your own self when you're writing these answers. Remember one thing, whatever answers you're writing, maybe there is no one supervising you at that point of time, but you're only doing it for your own improvement and betterment. So it will be better that you all do not cheat when you're writing these answers. Okay. Then when we come on to the poetry section again, so you need to know your poetry really well. You need to understand the meaning behind the poetry. If there are certain statements where read between the lines is mandatory, just understand what is exactly the poetry trying to convey. It would be amazing if you were able to remember the names of the poet. Okay, the ones who have written the poetry, that would be amazing. Read the poetry thoroughly and only then attempt your questions. You should be able to understand what is exactly the meaning of the word and what is the significance of that particular statement in the poetry. So you should literally, in fact, it should be as if you should learn the poetry, but of course it's not possible for you all to learn the entire poetry. So remember, just at least understand, have a clear thorough explanation of the poetry, understand the figure of speech given in the poetry. Okay, and then what you can do is you can try attempting writing answers all by yourself. Remember, rote learning is not the solution when it comes to literature paper. This is not a paper where you have to write word to word answers. We are expecting you to be more creative when it comes to writing a paper. So please focus on the creativity part by writing your own answers. Yes, do not forget to mention the keywords. Okay, do not forget to mention the keywords. And yes, focus on the spellings. If you're spelling, if there are any spelling mistakes, you are going to lose marks. You need to express your views and opinions when questions like give the reference to the poetry. You should be able to express your point of views. You should be able to express what you think about the poetry. For example, daffodils. The writer would feel immense peace. He would get a feeling of serenity When you would look at the host of golden daffodils, do you agree with him? Do you feel that yes, nature, inculcates a sense of peace and calmness within you? Are you agreeing to that? Give such examples. Okay, relate to the poetry with your own life, and questions like references are asked. This is going to help you relate with your poetry, and not only just relate, but help you write better answers when it comes to attempting a poetry question in the paper. Remember, emphasizing on each and every detail of the poetry is important. Wherever you've written your keywords, highlight those keywords, underline the keywords. If you've written a phrase, if you've written a proverb, just underline them so that you can bring it to the notice of the paper corrector. You should know your keywords really well in the poetry with their meaning and the significance. And yes, read the question carefully, read the questions thoroughly, and only then attempt in the paper. Please just do not be in a rush. It's a 16 mark, one question of 16 marks. Take 20 minutes to solve the question. That's absolutely okay. But do not rush with the paper. Read the question, understand what is the question talking about, and then try writing the answer. Remember one thing, we are going to judge your answers based first on how well you have written the answer, and the second one is grammatical errors. If suppose you what you've tried, what you're writing is correct, but the way you have written it, like there are so many grammatical errors, maybe you've not framed the sentences well, you're going to lose marks. No point. That is why whenever you're writing, understand what you're writing and ensure you're writing it in a proper grammatical manner. Now, how does this proper grammatical manner come? It will only come when you are practicing and practicing papers. See, in literature, if you want to prepare really well for your literature paper, go chapter wise, go scene wise, go poetry wise, prepare your own question paper, start solving the paper. Now, whenever you're reading your answer, if you feel there has been a grammatical error, check what has been written over there, what has been written in the guide, and then try understanding how you're supposed to write the answer. And if there are too many grammatical errors, you can just copyright the answers 2 to 3 times and then try writing it all by yourself. That's all you can do. But I will just still suggest, read the answer once, twice, and then you can write it all by yourself. You all will be able to do it. Okay. And then we come on to the prose section again, chapters. Now see, chapters like hearts and hands, then we had a horse and two goats, we had an old man and the bridge. Now these particular chapters are really intense. Now for hearts and hands, what is the reference for when it comes to heart and hand? This is a very common question asked in the paper. You should be able to justify the reference of heart, and you should be able to justify the reference of hands. Now you need to know the characters of the story really well, you need to know the plot really well. Okay. Again, remember one thing, whenever you are writing, while writing an answer also, you end up writing sms language, slangs or faulty languages. Avoid doing that. Okay, whenever you're writing like a prose question, attempting a prose question, what you can simply do is, like for example, there is a story, there's a question based on hearts and hands. So here what you can do is, you can just quickly make a flow chart with a pencil, just writing down the sequence of the chapter. Okay, what happened first, then how did the story progress, and so on. And then probably end up writing an answer. You will not get confused, because often what happens is, whenever we are writing an answer, we tend to get confused with the flow of the chapter. So this is going to help you maintain the flow of the chapter. As far as the and old man at the bridge is concerned, now in the end it was a complete abrupt ending, like no one knows what happened with the old man. So at times they might ask questions like, what are your assumptions to what happened with the old man? So then you will have to give a different ending to the story. Again, in face in the dark, stories like face in the dark, you might be asked to give a different ending to the story. So you can be creative, you can be imaginative, and you can write what according to you should have happened or would have happened in the story. Similarly, an angel in disguise, they might ask you this question, that who was the actual angel? Okay, and why was she considered an angel? So then you will have to justify. If you're saying that Maggie was the angel, then you will have to justify that why was she the angel, what difference did she bring in Mr. Wheelwright's life that made her an angel. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. So you will have to just know the story really well. You should know your content really well, right? Then you remember one thing, even if you are not aware of high end vocabulary words, it's okay. But what it at the end should matter is, even if you're writing a simple English, you should write a simple English but with logical sentences and proper meaning. It's okay if you're writing simple English, that's not a problem. Until unless it is grammatically correct, it is making sense with the answer, we are okay with that. We do not want you to end up writing really high in vocabulary. That's not important. What's important is writing correct sentences. High in vocabulary definitely is needed when you're attempting writing skills, but in answers, even if it's simple language, that's absolutely okay. You should just read your question carefully, and you should understand the kind of pointers that are being asked in the paper. Again, underline your keywords, underline the important words that you have written. If in case you've written some different word, underline it, so that first and foremost we can understand that okay, all the questions have been answered in the you have answered all the questions. You have written the keywords, so it will become very easy for the paper corrector to analyze what you've written in the paper and accordingly give you marks. You should know the central idea, you should know the theme, you should know the plot, you should know the characters of each and every story. You cannot go and attempt an examination without actually knowing your story, without knowing your plot, or without knowing your theme. And let me tell you, students, you can go through the plot, the theme, everything which is available on Robomate. You can just view the app, you can just go towards the end of the chapter, you'll get the theme, you'll get the plot, you'll get the summary, you'll get the character sketch. Everything is mentioned over there. You need to just read. If needed, you just can write down the summary or the theme in your own words. There will be in total of 9 questions asked in the paper. You have to just attempt 5. Avoid attempting the ninth question, as it will have the questions marked 4, 4 and 8. Whenever you have an 8-mark question, often it demands the summary of the entire chapter. Not feasible to end up wasting so much of your time writing 8-mark question. Rather, attempt the smaller ones, attempt the 4-4 mark questions, 3 3 mark questions. They will help you score better marks. Always begin your answer with an introduction. This extract has been taken from so and so particular chapter. Then what is exactly happening? For example, Act 1, Scene 1. This extract has been taken from Act 1, Scene 1, where we see Antonio in a melancholic mood. That's it. Begin your answer with an introduction. If it's a 3-mark question, write 6 lines. If it's a 4-mark question, write 8 lines. How do we divide the answer into 6 lines? So 6 plus 2, that becomes 6 lines of answer and 2 marks of your introduction. And if it's 8 lines, it's a 4-mark question, 8 lines, then you have 6 lines of answer and 2 lines of introduction. This is how you're going to basically write your answers. Always remember, it is going to be, if it's a 3-mark question, 6 like answer, and if it is a 4-mark question, then you'll have a 8-line answer. This is the sequence that you'll need to follow. And remember one thing very carefully, students: you need to have a thorough understanding of the chapter. You need to have a thorough understanding of the different kind of questions that can be asked in the examination. Read your chapters really well. After every chapter, solve the end of chapter questions. You can make your own question paper. Write and write. You need to solve at least 2 papers when it comes to literature every week. Now is the time that you should start solving papers. If even if by now your chapters are not learned, you have not understood them, start now. It is never too late, but at least begin. So these are all the pointers that are important from examination point of view as far as your literature paper is concerned. So keep these pointers in mind. Remember, read your chapters really well. Solve your like after reading a chapter, solve the end of chapter questions. You can go through the summary, theme, central idea, everything which is given on Robomate. In fact, certain summaries have also been provided to you all. go through the summary as well. Okay, go through all these summaries and then start writing, your practice, start writing papers, attempt writing papers. 2 papers a week should be mandatory for all. Only then you will be able to excel, right? So with this we'll wind up with the session. I hope the session has been helpful for all of you all, and I have been able to sort out majority of your doubts. If not, I'm always available for you all. So, with this, we'll wind up with the session and wishing you all the very best for your upcoming board exams. Remember one thing, students, I've been always telling you all one thing: run behind efforts, do not run behind marks. Ensure that the efforts taken to score marks are correct and you are taking efforts in the right direction. Only then you will excel. Run behind efforts, marks are automatically going to follow you, right? So give it your best shot. Whenever practicing, be loyal to your own self, and I'm sure that you all are going to excel in your examination. You all are going to give it your best. Wishing you all the luck and hope to see you all really very soon. So bye guys, take care, and please don't forget to be safe. Do take care of yourself.